All right, I believe we're streaming. Yes, we're streaming now. Good morning, everybody. Hi, happy Saturday. My name is Kevin Bing. I'm the president of the Journal Square Community Association, and I want to welcome you to the October meeting of the Journal Square Community Association. We've got a lot of business to get to today. It's probably going to go the full 2 hours. I want to thank you all for tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter/Periscope. We really appreciate, in these times, it's hard to get everybody together, and being able to get together online seems to be working out. So far, so good. Throughout the meeting, we're going to be looking for questions from the audience for our speakers. So if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, if you're on, I don't know about Periscope, I don't know how well that works, but Facebook for sure, you can leave comments below the video, and same on YouTube. Your comments will pop up and we're going to be using those to ask questions of the candidates and the speakers today. First things first, I'm going to run over the treasurer's report. Mia's not able to join us. She's having a little bit of computer trouble this morning. Let me find this. If you guys just give me 1 second to look at my email. Oh no, I lost the treasurer's report. It's out there. Just one moment, everybody. Here we go. Treasurer's report. In lieu of Mia Scango being here, our treasurer, this is as of September 27th. The general fund has $1,938.57. The Bergen Arches Fund has $30,245.03. The Bergen Square Day Fund has $5,460.33 for a total of $37,643.93. The next bit of housekeeping, I'm just in the announcement email for this meeting. The minutes were sent out from the September meeting. I'm going to ask for unanimous approval of the members to approve the minutes. If anybody would like to, if anybody's opposed to unanimous consent to approve the minutes, please email us at hello@jsqca.com. You can email us at hello@jsqca.com and let us know. Any other questions or concerns or anything, please email us there. I don't know if I mentioned at the top, our speakers today are Jeff Trzeciak. He's the director of the Jersey City Free Public Library, and we're also going to be having a candidate forum. We have the 6 candidates that are running for 3 open seats on the Jersey City Board of Education. They will be speaking with you today for the upcoming election this November on the same date as the presidential election, or it'll be on your vote by mail ballot. First, I would like to introduce Jeff Trzeciak. As I mentioned before, he's the director of the Jersey City Free Public Library. Jeff, are you there? If you're there, your video is off. You're going to have to turn the video back on. I think. Just 1 sec while Jeff is connecting. Jeff, can you hear us? Jeff? I don't think we have a connection from Jeff. Let me see if he's on here. That's not good. All right, we lost Jeff. Maybe he's going to Jeff, were you able to reconnect? Oh, there he is. Good morning, Jeff.
Sorry. Morning. How are you?
Not a problem. Not a problem.
I think my connection dropped. I'm sorry about that.
We have you here now, and that's what's important.
Great.
So, I just did a little introduction. If you'd like to introduce yourself, talk about your work at the library and, how it affects Journal Square, please go right ahead.
Sure. Well, thanks for inviting me this morning. I'm Jeffrey Trzeciak, and I'm the director of the Jersey City Free Public Library. And I've been at Jersey City Free Public Library since November of last year. And before that, I was the director of the Newark Public Library, but have been around quite a bit, and really happy to be living here and working here now. My husband and I moved to Jersey City in February. And we're living in the Heights. So happy to be living and working in Jersey City now. I'd like to talk. Thank you for allowing me to talk a little bit about the libraries. Probably the question I get the most is, are you open? And that's a complicated question. The basic answer is yes, we are. And good morning, everyone. We are open, but we are still covered by a executive order from the governor's office. So we can't be physically, we can't have more than 25% capacity in any of our libraries. We are providing curbside delivery as one option. You can find our reopening plans and the services that are available at our website, jclibrary.org. Our website lists all the services that are available. We do curbside, so you can request that books be picked out for you, and then you can pick them up at any location that you choose. If you don't have a library card, you can still get one. We're giving out digital library cards, and you can get that online. If you are at all concerned of fines or fees that you may have, we've eliminated all of our fines and fees, so don't worry about that. And if you still have books checked out and you want to return them, you can return them, but again, it's limited. Long story short, we have to isolate the materials when you return them for up to 3 days. So we're only accepting returns on a limited basis, and all that information is on our website. We also have hotspots available. If you or someone you know does not have internet in the home, you can check out a hotspot, and that is free as long as you're a card holder. We're offering printing services up to 20 pages free. You can print out something at your local library and then pick it up just like you do with curbside. And we're also allowing people to come in if you don't have a computer in your home and you need computer access. You can schedule an appointment and come in and use one of our computers. I think one of the questions that I've gotten to is, what have you been doing, or what are you guys doing during this shutdown period? And we've actually been doing quite a bit of work on our branches. The Five Corners branch, I'm really looking forward to reopening it when we're allowed to do so, because we've done a tremendous amount of work in the Five Corners branch. If you haven't been in a while, you probably remember the old curtains and the dingy floors and the wood paneling. That's all gone. We've replaced all the paneling with new drywall and repainted everything. We put in all new flooring. We bought all new furniture for Five Corners, and we have bought all new window treatments. So we're really looking forward to reopening so that people have a chance to experience the branch in a new way, the way it should have been for a long time. And we're hiring a lot of new people. Jersey City has been very generous to the libraries, and our budget has gone up. So we're adding children's librarians at all of our locations, and 3 new librarians for Five Corners, a children's librarian, a teen librarian, and also there's a new branch head there now as well. So that's kind of an overview of where we are with the libraries. Happy to take any questions that you might have. Just let me know. Oh, I can be reached, I should say I can be reached at director@jclibrary.org. If you don't have any questions right now, you can always get me at director@jclibrary.org.
That's fantastic. Thank you. We do have one comment from the group already. Paul is saying, thank you for using the library spaces during the census. Is it true? Did the library participate in the census in any way?
Well, we've been reminding people to complete their census, and we did provide some space for training that was taking place. So happy to allow that training to take place. The U.S. Census, of course, is an important thing that we should all participate in, and has an impact on not only our representation, but also the funding that federal funding that comes to Jersey City. So since the libraries rely in part on federal funding and state funding as well, we wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to complete the census. So happy to provide the training space.
Fantastic. I know I do have a question from, well, he didn't ask it directly, but I know it's something he's been inquiring about from James, the head of our history committee, about the Jersey City room and that resource.
Yeah.
Do you know about the plans, when it's going to reopen and what capacity?
Well, we're actually, watch our website, jclibrary.org, for our reopening plans. We are talking about that because we know that the New Jersey room is something that people love to use, and we want to be able to provide that resource to the community. So we are we're getting ready to open soon. I don't want to say exactly when, but I would say definitely by the end of the year, if not much sooner than that. Just watch our website. We've got a new question coming in too. That's awesome. The issue for us, of course, is that we want to maintain public health and also the health of our staff. So we, during the time that we've been closed, we've actually literally taken every book off the shelf and cleaned it. You can imagine how time consuming that was. And we're making sure all of our staff have PPE. Adam asks if the sign on the exterior of Five Corners will be repaired. Yes, we're hoping to get that repaired so it actually says Five Corners and not Five Connors. It's very annoying actually for me to drive by and see that, so it will be taken care of. Somebody also asked what the library's budget was, and the question sort of scrolled by. I'm not sure the full question, but the library's annual budget right now is around $14 million, and we're pretty similar to other public libraries our size. Library budgets are mandated by state law, so we get roughly 33 cents on every $1,000 of real estate taxes, and with that $14 million, about 75% of our budget goes to staffing, which is common in a library our size, and about 10% goes to our acquisitions budget. The rest goes into facilities and programming, insurance, overhead, so to speak.
Jeff, I see there's a question from Joe on here. Thank you for your efforts. If I want to search for an article in Jersey City Reporter, can I just come in without an appointment?
At the moment, no, but email me at director@jclibrary.org and I'll share your question with the staff and we'll see what we can do. We're encouraging people to make appointments.
Okay. I feel like we had another question on here. Okay. Your reopening efforts so far, they've been guided by the state. If there's an uptick this winter and spring, what sort of restrictions did you guys have back in, April, May? If we see a resurgence of case counts like that, could you, what sort of restrictions do you think would snap back?
So there is a possibility if there was a resurgence that we would have to close again. And in fact, during the early part of the pandemic, we didn't start curbside, I think, until June. So most of the staff were not allowed in the building either. And that was, again, an executive order from the governor's office. So we were, in fact, I think, the first library in the state to offer curbside delivery. And we did that by working closely with the governor's office and with the mayor's office as well. Our reopening efforts are guided by the governor's office, but they're also guided by research around library facilities and library materials. And we've been very cautious. The COVID virus can actually live on books for up to 72 hours after their return. So that's why we haven't reopened for browsing yet. We're being just very cautious in protecting the health of the community and our staff.
Fantastic.
Again, I've got a nice shout out from our Facebook virtual programming. We've
Oh,
done
yeah.
about 600 hours of programming during this time, and it's had about 500,000 views. And we offer everything from children's story hour to Bollywood dance lessons to drink making to pizza making. Anything that you might be interested in is available online through our website, or excuse me, through our Facebook page. And we archive all of those as well. So if you miss something, you can watch it again later. Somebody also just asked if you can access ebooks and audiobooks online. Yes, you can. We've actually increased our spending on ebooks and audiobooks. You can get that just by using your JC library card. And if you don't have a card, you can get a digital card through our website, jclibrary.org.
Hey, Jeff, real quick, what was the email address again?
You can reach me at director@jclibrary.org. That's the easiest way. Or you can use my first initial last name, but my last name is a mess.
No problem. No problem. Let me just see if we've got anything else coming up in the chat. Again, if you guys have questions or comments for Director Trzeciak, just please leave it in the Facebook or YouTube comment section below. Paul says, Jeffrey, you did a wonderful job activating repurposing library spaces in Newark. What projects are you thinking about in Jersey City once the spaces are more safely accessible?
Thank you for the compliment and for the question. One of the reasons why my board brought me here was, I think, in part because of all the great programs and facilities that we were offering in Newark. We were actually getting ready to open a makerspace right before the pandemic, and it was sort of set. We still have some 3D printers and some 3D goggles and some other things, and they're just sitting on our loading dock right now. So it was a little disappointing getting all that stuff only to have to shut down. So we're looking forward. You can look forward to makerspaces for one. We are actually spending a lot of time upgrading the spaces. I mentioned Five Corners, but we've also replaced flooring in the Cunningham branch. We're working on the Heights branch next. We'll be doing new flooring in the Morgan branch as well. We're buying a lot of new furnishings, and we're adding a lot of technology. We're adding self-check, so when we do reopen, you won't have to wait in a line at the circulation desk. You'll be able to check out your books yourself if you like. So we're adding self-check machines at some of our busier locations. We're adding kiosks, electronic kiosks as well. So you'll see an increase in tech infused throughout our spaces. We also we've been increasing our programming through Facebook Live, but we hope to also bring in well-known authors and start an author series. We're looking forward to other innovative programming, cooking classes, all kinds of things, as soon as we can open again.
Jan has a question. Is there anything residents can do to help the Jersey City Free Public Library?
Yeah, visit our website and register for a library card, for one, so you can support us that way. I'm sure you already have one, but Jan, if you could encourage others, please, to get their library cards, that would be awesome. Encourage them to visit our website. Please share information about me in particular, and just spread the good word about what the staff at Jersey City Free Public Library are doing. I'm very fortunate to work with a really wonderful group of people. So the more that we can promote the good work that they're doing, get the word out about our programs and services, that would be awesome.
All right, fantastic. All right, well, Jeff, I want to thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time. And I think it's been very informative about the efforts that the library has been going through, especially through COVID, and the resources that are available to the community.
Well, again, thank you. If you need to get a hold of me, you can email me, director@jclibrary.org.
Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
You too. Take care.
Okay. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for your questions and taking the time to listen to Director Trzeciak. That was really valuable. And with that, we're going to move on to our candidate forum. Just going to lay out, we have all 6 candidates joining us today. I'm going to let them do their own introductions. For those of you that don't know, and I'm sure someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but there are 3 open seats on the Jersey City Board of Education. There are 6 people running. They're divided into 2 slates, and so they're running together with both ballot position and as a team. And so I'll let them introduce themselves and their slates. You can get to know a little bit more about them. Just for a little bit of structure for how we're going to do it today, because this is a stream debate, we absolutely have the ability to mute the microphones. I hope it's not going to be, we're not going to have to be too zealous about it, but we're going to, in the interest of fairness, we have time limits so that the different slates have equal time to answer questions from you, the membership. And so we're going to start off. Each candidate is going to do a 2-minute introduction. We used a coin flip before the meeting. The Education Matters team will be going first. And then we're going to go directly to questions from the audience. So while they're speaking, feel free to leave questions in the chat, and we can bring them on the screen. In terms of how the responses are going to work, each team will have 3 minutes to respond to a question. So we'll turn their mics on and they can respond however they wish. I plan on doing about 5 questions, and with that, the forum will take almost an hour. So just wanted to make time and have a good educational, informational forum for everybody. So with that, I'm going to introduce the Education Matters team. I'll turn your guys' mics on, and you guys can decide, who you want to introduce first. So Gina, Lorenzo, and LaKendrick. Lorenzo, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
All right, fantastic. Okay. You guys go ahead.
I can't see my picture though.
Yeah, I don't see it either. If there's a video button, if you could turn on the video, that would be helpful. But otherwise, we can hear you just fine.
It's actually on. For some reason, it's not working.
Jason, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. I'm not used
Okay,
to
there we go.
Lorenzo, we see you. Okay.
There we go.
So whoever wants to go first, the floor is yours.
Okay. Do you want to start, Trustee Shaw?
Oh, LaKendrick, you're muted. LaKendrick?
You're muted.
On starting the timer. You're muted. You there?
Okay. Does he have the mute button off? Can you unmute him?
He's not muted on my end. Lorenzo, do you want to go first?
Sure. My name is Lorenzo Richardson. I'm currently the school board president. I've been on the board for 6 years. I'm a lifelong resident of Jersey City. I've attended Jersey City Public Schools, graduated 3rd in my class from Ferris High School, educated at St. Peter's College, bachelor's and master's in accounting. Again, I've been on the board for 6 years. I've been advocating at the Board of Education meetings for over 22 years, and very passionate about public education. Very thankful for the public education I received and the benefits from it in me and my life and for my family. Had the opportunity to do a lot of great work here on behalf of this district. Go around the state and around the country representing public education as a whole, because I'm very passionate about equity, making sure that all students get a quality education, no matter what their race background is. And I just want to make sure that all students have a fair shot at the American dream, as they say, and that we have the opportunity to make sure that all students are being treated equally in the classroom, as well as outside the classroom when it comes to the needs of the district and what they can provide. One of those being the digital divide. And one of the key areas that I like to focus on is making sure that the budget is properly administered to the needs of the district, and especially in the classroom for the students' needs.
Okay, thank you very much. Lorenzo, are you able to see Anu with the cue cards?
I do not see anyone else.
Okay, that's fine.
But I do see LaKendrick and Gina and yourself.
Fantastic. All right, Gina, do you want to go next with introductions?
Sure.
Thank you.
Good morning, Journal Square Association Group. Thank you for having us today. As the Education Matters team, the three of us are incumbents. I've been on the board for a year and a half now. I'm currently the vice president of the board. I have 3 children that attend Jersey City Public Schools in elementary, middle, and high school. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Art History. I'm a Girl Scout troop leader, past president of the Rotary Club of Jersey City. And I just want to have a chance to continue the work that we started. I've been a parent advocate for very many years and advocating on the board, going to many board meetings, whether they were local, the state, county. Just want to have a chance to continue the work that we started, but also to make sure that our students go back to school in a safe manner. And being so, we want to make sure the facilities are up to speed. And I'm very proud to be running with my two colleagues. We're very active in the community. I'm the chairperson of the Parent and Community Committee, as well as the A. Harry Moore Ad Hoc Committee, and I'm on the Policy Committee. So very into a lot of meetings and want to make sure that, like Lorenzo said, there's equity in our school district. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gina. And with that, LaKendrick, you want to go? LaKendrick, we still can't hear you.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. No, can't hear you.
Okay.
LaKendrick's mic was working at the beginning before all this came on. I don't know.
Is the volume up?
I don't know if it's the volume. It could be a connection issue.
Maybe log out and log back in. Can he?
Yeah. Yeah, LaKendrick, do you want to try reconnecting and we can do your introduction later? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. LaKendrick, just log out, use the link, log back in. I
can read lips.
Yeah. He can provide a written statement. But yeah, log back in. We'll do the other team, and then I'll come back to you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, guys. I'm going to meet
Thank
you
you.
on the other team. Okay, Karen, Sonia. Oh, I lost Ashina. Oh, geez. All right, we're having a little technical difficulties. If one of you guys could text Ashina, yeah?
Yeah, Sheena said she's been having trouble staying on and also seeing everybody. She could hear, but she sent me a screenshot of her. And there's she could hear, but she could not see the participants.
Well, yeah, you as a participant, you can't see the other participants. And while you're sitting in the waiting room, you don't speak. So just have her log back on, and I'll make sure she gets on. While you guys are talking. But Sonia, do you want to go first with the introductions?
Sure. Hi. First of all, thank you for having me here, and I thank the people out who are allowing me into their homes. My name is Sonia Cintron, and I am very passionate about working for the Board of Education and assisting with the daily requirements that's necessary. We need to help the children get back into the schools. I am a substitute teacher. I'm also have experience in the financial services, as I mentioned before. I look forward to getting out of these crises. I've seen teachers experiencing a lot of crisis, the children, what is required for the children on a daily basis, they're not being met. The funding is not there. Again, I just look forward to working with them and hopes that we can move forward into the future on a more progressive efforts.
Okay, thank you very much, Sonia. Karen, you want to go with a 2-minute introduction?
Sure. My name is Karen Polisky. I'm from Jersey City. My mother's from Jersey City. My grandmother's from Jersey City. My great-grandmother. We have a lot of history here, family history. Actually, in Journal Square, all of my family are waked at McLaughlin, so that's interesting. I'm deeply acquainted with the Jersey City Journal Square area because of the funeral home there by the PATH station. And of course, the wonderful Lowe's Theater Palace, which you guys did a fantastic job of, and I enjoy a lot of the events there. My history is I'm a business owner right now. I do live music production for festivals. I'm a production stage manager, which means you basically coalesce every moving part to make sure it works together for show day. That is not happening right now, but my previous experience is that I owned a martial arts school for 10 years in New York City, and which means I basically taught kids and adults for 10 years, and I continue to do so for basically over 20 years now. And I launched and wrote curriculum for music school after that. So I have a lot of experience launching businesses, running businesses, instruction, and coordinating people together and handling budget. So I have a lot of experience doing all of that. I chose to run because of the basic frustration with the corruption with the school board, the Sudan Thomas experience that we all share as a city, and the cash for contracts, and the theft from basically from taxpayers from the second program. So that I was intimately affected by, because I was hiring those people. Okay, and anyway, I didn't know we were running out of time so fast. I'm running because of the frustration and the fact that this board did not handle the COVID situation, and we really need people there who can plan and can run a business.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, yeah. Great. And it looks like we've got Ashina on the line. So Ashina, if you want to do a 2-minute introduction, go right ahead.
Hi, thank you very much for having this forum. My name is Ashina Johnson, and I'm a resident of the Bergen-Lafayette area. My work experience is in both government and financing, and I have a degree in economics. I will soon have my master's degree in public administration. My community involves youth mentoring. I am a violence prevention advocate, and I sit on the board of 2 nonprofit organizations. The reason why I am running is because I am frustrated with the leadership. Working in the community with the youth, I understand that education is an equalizer, and the lack of education can prevent our children from succeeding. This current leadership has failed with the COVID response. They have failed with the handling of the budget, and they have failed with their communication with the parents, teachers, and students. And I want the best for the children in Jersey City, and I believe that I'm the candidate that can provide that.
Thank you very much, Ashina. Okay. And I'm going to bring back LaKendrick. Just for all the candidates, so you know, you're going to have me and Anu in the lower right-hand corner, and Anu has little index cards that she'll let you know when time is running out, okay? Just to help with that. With that, I'm going to bring back LaKendrick. Hopefully we got the technical issue. Can we hear you, LaKendrick?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good evening. Good morning. Glad to be back here. My name is LaKendrick Shaw, and I'm currently a sitting trustee. And I just wanted to begin with Journal Square is near and dear to my heart, as I attended William L. Dickinson High School, and I used to have to walk through Journal Square to get to high school every morning. So it's a very important place to me. I'm running for the school board simply because I have a vested interest in seeing our children succeed, and also it says a lot for the future LaKendrick Shaws to be on the school board, given I'm a first-generation college student, and I had to work hard to where I am now. and much of that success is owed to the Jersey City public school system. So I feel it's imperative to continue to contribute through being on the board. And most importantly, I've been on the board for a little over a year now, but I've been able to work on significant legislation and groundbreaking work that move the student success rate forward. And some of that work has been, whether it be working with the superintendent to expand AP offerings throughout different schools, and also simply just discussing career readiness and also building preparedness now as we face this COVID challenge. But another thing that we were able to work on that I was most proud of, and being the technology of the chair department, is closing the wide gap of the technology disparities amongst our students right now, especially with the COVID. And I look forward to connecting with voters, and being on the school board again is imperative and important. And as my colleague Gina Vertibello mentioned, we would like to continue to add to consistency and continue the work that we're doing. So we would appreciate any support. Thanks.
Thank you very much, LaKendrick. That's great. All right, with that, I'm going to turn it right over to questions from the audience. We've done the introductions of the 6 candidates, the 2 teams. Again, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, you could just leave a comment below. We're going to be seeing it. We're going to display it on the screen. I'm going to be alternating since the Education Matters team began the introductions first. The Change for Children team is going to be able to get the first response to this question. And it's just going to be one response per team. We're not going to have a back and forth or anything like that. So try and, direct your responses to the question, to the member of the community that's asking it. There's a lot of important issues, so we want to have enough time for them. With that, we got a first question. Again, this is going to go first to the Change for Children team. From Bazia, it's, aside from COVID, what are the biggest challenges facing public education in Jersey City? All right, and you guys have 3 minutes to respond. I'll let you go ahead.
Well, let's start out with leadership. Leadership and training and educating our children, the staff. There's a lot of missteps, we're going from one crisis to another. There's really no sound leadership. There's no trust with our parents, with the Board of Education. There's no trust with the leadership. So, that's the feedback we've been getting. The food, the vendors, whatever food they're getting, it comes out moldy. I mean, they're frustrated. They don't know who to turn to. They call the schools and nobody is responding. All the missteps, just lack of leadership.
Yeah, there's definitely a lack of leadership that we see here. Also, there's a lack of planning. So one of the biggest challenges facing public education in Jersey City today is that there's no plan to catch up to the future of education. Right now, we're operating from a system that's, just trying to catch up to the past. We want people who are leading this education system. They're looking to see, what is education going to be like in 2030? We're in 2020 right now. All the kids should have laptops and should have connections, and there should be a way, that all of the people can communicate, via internet, because, obviously that's the COVID pandemic has brought up a lot of things that are lacking in this. But we really need vision, and we need to look forward. I think Sheena has probably started that.
In addition to that, Jersey City is a very diverse city, and therefore we have a very diverse school system. We have children who are in homes where English is their parents' second language, and we do not have the proper resources to ensure that everything is translated into the different languages that our students represent. And I think that is very important to getting our children educated, and also for their parents to be able to help them at home.
Okay. If that's it, I'm going to turn it over to the other team, unless anybody else would like to respond. Okay. And I'll bring back Gina and Lorenzo. We lost LaKendrick. If anybody wants to try and text them and get them back on. Just to refresh the question, aside from COVID, what are the biggest challenges facing public education in Jersey City? You guys have up to 3 minutes to respond.
Lorenzo, can I start?
Sure.
I just wanted to say that the biggest shortfall is the funding. We're constantly being hit, by the state, and it's been very difficult to get, full funding for our schools. And we have lots of parents that have been advocating hard for it. We have the payroll tax, and even that, the city was saying they're not going to give us all because of the COVID. The lack of money for our facilities. Our facilities needed upgrading from before the COVID. And I've always been a big advocate for facilities because I know how important it is to have a safe environment for students to thrive in. And that's why I've been actively looking at schools now. But what I want to say is that going back to the responses for Change for Children is that I fought hard for the food before I was even a board member. So I'd like to know why even if they don't want to if they don't become a board member, why don't you advocate more for the stuff that you're talking about? Because, we haven't seen you at all at any of our meetings. So we know that there are these issues. Lorenzo, you can take it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gina. And to that point, we haven't seen our challengers at any board meetings advocating for anything at our board meetings. So just to say that they're hearing this, they're hearing that, the question is, who's telling you this? Because they're clearly not at our board meetings and don't know what's going on. But when it comes to the funding, Trustee Vertibello is right. As the president, I've been here for 6 years on the board, and I can tell you that when it comes to the funding, we have been flat funded for a number of years. During the Christie administration, we were only able to raise the levy no more than 2%, and that was statewide, not just our district. And then, of course, we were faced with these cuts that the state has been imposing upon us, saying that, our city is rich enough to be able to fund our own schools. And so we're dealing with that issue. We've been addressing it for the past 3 years for these 3 massive cuts, which we've been a part of making sure that those cuts did not impact the classroom. And then on top of that, with the facilities, we're making major strides in the area of the facilities, trying to make sure that they are able for the students to come back to be safe. We're working with vendors now to make sure that those things are being done. And then we're also finishing up the renovations of A. Harry Moore School, when you heard about what happened over there with the portico falling. And then that turned into a full renovation of their facility.
Okay, thank you very much. I think, is that the 3 minutes in there? Yeah, okay, great. All right, thank you very much. I'm going to take another question real quick. Let me just get this. And LaKendrick, we do have you back, so just hang on the line. This question comes from Patrick Ambrosi, who I believe is a city council candidate right now in Ward D. How would you like to work or not work with the city council to address funding issues with our school system? This is going to go first to the Education Matters team, since Change for Children had the first response to the last question. So I'm going to bring back Lorenzo, Gina, and LaKendrick. You guys have 3 minutes to respond to this.
Okay, LaKendrick, would you like to start? Is LaKendrick there?
LaKendrick? No, we lost him again.
Oh, okay. So I'll just say very quickly that we've been working with the city on shared services. And then also we've been asking the city, to address the funding issue in terms of the budget. Our levy is considerably low when you look at it, and we've been letting the city know. I've been advocating at those meetings, they're on public record, letting them know that the levy has to be raised. But when you look at the city's budget, you need to also question the city as to why their budget is more than the school board budget.
Of course, obviously, my experience directly being a legislative aide at City Hall for almost 3 years. But obviously, it's a no-brainer. We intend to work with the city and collaborate with the city to get the funding that we need. I think it just has to have, the conversation has to be there, because historically, there wasn't much conversation in the past between the board and the city council. So our intentions is to work with them and collaborate and address some of our funding needs, because obviously running the city and running the Board of Education is two different things. So I just think there needs to be more collaboration and more discussions happening at the board level and also at the council level. And that's what we intend to continue to do. Obviously, there was some conversations that was tough in the past via, appointed board or via increasing the levy. But, as my colleague mentioned previously, we're getting there in terms of establishing consistency amongst our board. So I think the conversations are much different down the line.
And also, our shared services with the city is helping the lead remediation of the water. They're paying for that. And the trailers are being removed, the ones that are empty, and the city's been paving it and making it look better. So we've been doing a lot of that kind of stuff, which saves us a lot of money and time, and we'll continue to find other solutions to, and I think we were also using some of our parking lots before the COVID to raise revenue, and that was another way. A lot of it, the percentage came from the district, which was a very good thing. And then I thank Councilwoman Mira Ray for that.
Okay. Thank you for your response, guys. I'm going to take it over to the Education Matters team with the same question. Let me do my stage management here. I'll bring you guys back. And just to rephrase the question, or restate the question, how would you work or not work with the City Council to address the funding issues with our school system? You guys have 3 minutes.
Great. A little bit more about me. I worked 2 years for the New York State Senate in the intergovernmental agency. So I coordinated with city council, state leaders, and a lot of the electeds, Assembly, Senate, and city council. So I have experience working with city councils, and we do have to work in partnership with them. To address the issue earlier that the Education Matters team brought up about us not being at meetings, first of all, meetings are online. And secondly, you guys have been in this job. You tout your experience and your years and years of being involved, but how come nothing has changed? It hasn't moved forward with all of your advocacy. You're doing the same thing that's been happening for years. So I'd love to get in there and actually make a change, because if you're doing you've been doing this for 20 years and it's the exact same way it is now, or you've been doing it for 3 years, you've been doing it for 1 year, I would like to see, if I was doing a job for 20 years, you would see definitely, if I was involved with the school board for 20 years, I would have been able to plan ahead when I got the job, and then also have made an impact, a greater impact. So I'm not like swayed by the fact that you've been doing it, because if I had been doing it, it would have been, pushed forward. The ball would have been moved down the line a lot further. And turn it over to Ashina. She could have an answer.
So one thing I want to say, because I don't want the community that is viewing right now to be misled, I am in this community each and every day. I am working with the children who are most at risk for falling behind. And I also do attend the board meetings. We are during a pandemic, and the board meetings are online. And when I miss the board meeting, I do watch the replay. So to say that just because you don't see me present doesn't mean that I am not involved and active on the ground. I talk to the students who attend the schools, and I talk to the parents and the teachers who are also involved in the schools. Working with the city is a no-brainer. My government experience, I started out working as a constituent services aide to Senator Sandra Cunningham. I've worked as a community aide with Assemblywoman Angela McKnight. And most recently, I was the council aide to the Ward F Councilman Jermaine Robinson. And so, I understand the importance of working not just with city government, but with state government as well. And there needs to be ongoing meetings, I would say monthly or bi-monthly, with both our municipal, our county, and our state representatives to ensure that we are doing and getting the best for our students.
Yes.
Go ahead, Sonia. I think you have.
Yes, and just to on what Gina Verdabella just said about the spoiled foods. Listen, I've worked as a Jersey City substitute teacher in our district. Okay, I've seen firsthand the food that are given to these children. One breakfast morning, there's
Sonia,
with molded cheese.
time is up. I'm gonna have to cut you off. Sorry, I got to be fair to everybody. Okay, thank you very much for your responses, guys. I'm going to keep you on because the next question is going to go to you first. Where is it? Okay. This is from a member of the community. Question is, who are the financiers of your campaigns? In the past, Change for Children has been funded by Fair NJ, a super PAC primarily funded by real estate developer LaFrac that belongs to the billionaire Richard LaFrac. Who has supported Donald Trump in the past? Are they still funding you?
I can start off. Our campaign is not funded by Fair New Jersey this year. We are funded by individuals, small businesses, and also corporations as well. I think what is very, very important to understand about campaigns and elections is we have to tackle the exorbitant costs that are incurred to run an election and to inform voters, because that's what most of the money is spent on. And I think, going forward, those people who are concerned about who is writing checks to a campaign and who's funding a campaign, we need to figure out a more public way to inform over 250,000 voters in the city of Jersey City of who the candidates are, what they've been doing in the community, and what they're going to do should they get the position that they are seeking. I'm glad that the person asked that question, because it's also important to note that not only are we're not funded by a PAC this year, we are, out in the community asking donors, individuals and small businesses for donations, but our opponents are actually funded by Garden State Forward, which is a PAC. It's one of the largest PACs in the state, and therefore one of the largest PACs that is present in Jersey City at this time. So I would ask that, you investigate why there's no transparency with who's funding our campaign, because you can look up every single donor to our campaign and know who's writing checks to us.
I would agree with Sheena. You can actually see every single donor to our campaign. We are transparent. We are not backed by a PAC. We've gotten donations from, $25 from my aunt in Ohio. My ex-husband in Vermont's given us money, not to be an Amy Klobuchar, but we are getting little donations from everywhere around the country. And also we are completely transparent. You can see every one of our donors. They're the ones who are taking money from a PAC, and we don't know who's given money to that. It could be people that they're given contracts for. You know what I mean? They could be people that are supporting them. We don't know who these people are. So if we are transparent with every single dollar we've gotten, they are not. We do not know who's supporting their campaigns, and they're not even being campaigns. They don't show their expenditures in a clear and transparent way that makes me trust this board to handle money. So they're getting money from a PAC. We don't know who's contributing to that PAC.
Okay. Does that conclude your response? I think we have about 30 seconds left, right, Anu? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to take the same question over to the Education Matters team just to bring you all back on. So same question, who's financing the campaign, and how would you like to respond to that?
I could kick that off. To simply ensure that we are soliciting donors for contracts, I think, we should be owed an apology, Ms. Polisky, because that's implying that we're in illicit activity when we're not. And, we're backed by the teachers union, without a doubt. But that's the teachers, and the teachers are the brick and mortar of teaching and education. So we would want that support, naturally. And that trickles down to the community and others. But what I would leave voters with is there's ways to contribute to campaigns indirectly. So our opponents said they're not involved with the PAC directly anymore, but there's indirect ways that they're getting assistance from big business. And I will question, why start with big business in the beginning and then isolate yourself? You only isolate yourself from a situation when there's something wrong. So by no means are we involved in activity that's addressed with seeking donations for contracts.
And I think it's also an insult to the teachers who are supporting us. They are the ones that contribute to, for their union. And these are the people that want us to be back on the board, because we're the ones that protect them the most. And it's an honor to take money from this PAC, because I know that we're doing the right thing. I would question who's running their campaign, Mohammed Akil, which has, his own issues. So I really don't think it's necessary to sling things at each other, because in the past, they've had a very bad reputation of, making us look like we were like really disgraceful people when we're not. We're community people as well. I'm a mother of 3 children that go to these schools. I'm living what we're going through right now with what's going on with the virtual learning. So that's just my take. Lorenzo?
Yeah, I just want to say that, in the past, I have been supported by the teachers union, and I'm thankful for that they have that confidence in me, that they've seen me come to these board meetings day after day. I've always been the exact same person since day one, and I've never asked for anything in return or in lieu of for any reason whatsoever. I just want to support the children, and and they chose to support me and my running mates, and in the past other running mates as well. And I would say personally that had it not been for a lot of the people who have been on this board for the past several years, who have been supported by the teachers union, had those members not been on this board would be in a lot worse shape than it is now. And we're in the process of turning it around, which it doesn't take overnight.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm going to take another question from the group, and I'm going to keep you all on because it goes to you guys first. I believe this is from Bill, our secretary. The question is for the candidates who have children in public schools, but we can broaden it as well. How are the children doing with remote learning? Do you fear that they and all the other children in public schools may be falling behind? And I'm going to add to that question, if elected, what would you do to address the specific challenges of COVID and remote learning and the safety of your staff that it's brought to the public school system? So I'll give you guys 3 minutes to go ahead and respond.
I think I'd like to start considering that I have 3 children, like I said earlier, that are going through it right now. And also I wanted to say, Bill, hopefully you're doing well. I know you've had some surgery. But I just wanted to say that I think our teachers are doing an amazing job, as well as our students. I think what's going on, even like with my children themselves, they're doing fine. Everything is the way it should be. And of course, there are children that are probably not doing as well. And I think we can add tutoring, we can add our programs, and as we get our children back into these classrooms, because that's really where a lot of the work can get done. But for now, I can truthfully say that our teachers are doing an amazing job. They're doing, we've had a lot of teachers in our parent community group, saying, I'm tired. It's a lot more work to do when you're doing it virtually versus in a classroom. So, and we are trying to keep them safe. A lot of teachers opted to go in and teach from their classroom because it was easier. And I want to say that yesterday we toured Ferris High School, and they're upgrading their internet speed. So there are those things going on, just kind of happening all at the same time. Things are happening. We don't publicize everything, but it should be known that we are doing a lot.
Yeah. Kendrick?
Yes. So I'm responsible for my younger brother. He's in the 5th grade at PS 17, and the virtual learning process has been, smooth. I check his homework with him every day about. And as my colleague Gina mentioned, there's a lot of groundwork we're covering. So a teacher may mention to me that we have a teacher on-call program that's working, and also the superintendent spoke about looking at where we are with the virtual learning process and hearing all the feedback, considering some of the feedback is saying it was very time-consuming and very long for some students. So it's going to be some new developments there in that department. So in terms of the virtual learning process, we're right there. We're listening to feedback. That's the most important thing. We're listening to feedback, and we're nimble and we're flexible.
Thank you, Kendrick. And so just to follow up on that, my son, he's doing okay with the remote learning. And so my thing is, I've been hearing all around that, sometimes the connectivity issues from time to time, and then also dealing with just trying to log on, and there was some issues with the language barriers. When the survey was initially done, there were some parents who thought they were okay with the computers that they were using. Then when we started for the full day, and they know they needed to have one for each child, the dynamics changed a little bit, but we addressed that issue.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your responses. Okay. And I'm going to bring back the Change for Children candidates. Same question. Any of you with children in public schools, how is remote learning going? And, if elected, what would you do to address the COVID crisis?
I don't have children in the public school system. However, as a community volunteer with our young people who are most at risk for falling behind, I can say that there are several things that are, plaguing the students. The number one is the internet connection. You have some children who, it's themselves and their siblings who are trying to be connected to the internet, and they may have parents in the household as well that are trying to connect. So there's a connectivity issue where they, get bumped off. There's also some struggles with the parents and the teachers, going from app to app for the different lessons, and the parents being able to help the students with that, and I'll add back in that language barrier where parents who English is not their, first language are struggling to help their children at home because they don't have the resources they need in their language. I do want to jump back real quick to something that was said. Listen, don't be fooled, community. Garden State Forward is a PAC. It is very difficult for you to find out who is donating to that PAC. And to the request for an apology, I don't feel an apology is warranted because two of the candidates that are running on the opposing team last year ran with a man who was not only taking cash for contracts, and he said, and this is quoted in the paper, that nobody pays attention to the contracts, they just vote on them. And he's also a person who stole money from a second chance program, and one of my opponents yesterday, just a few days ago, praised him for his commitment to the children. How can you say somebody is committed to the children when they're taking cash for contract, and they may be absorbent contracts, which are taking money away from the students? So, and also someone who stole money from people who are trying to get their life back together. So is an apology warranted? Absolutely not. But, to get back to the question at hand, there are extreme technology and connectivity issues, and it is hurting some of our residents with lower incomes and lower access to resources. And that is a big thing.
Yeah, also, like, my nieces and nephews are in the Jersey City schools. Basically, they were pulled out and are attending school elsewhere. The other thing is, I'm teaching a pod right now, so a lot of parents are just pulling their kids out and forming their own kids schools, because this is not working for families. Unless you have a parent who can teach the kid at home, this certain system is not working for families. Again, I do think it's incredibly insulting that these people are saying to us that, we shouldn't take the job because they're doing a very good job of it when they are worked with somebody who stole the ethics. Someone running right now has ethics violations, and we are people that are ethical, can get the job done, and have not done any criminal acts or worked with people who have done criminal acts. So, to say that it's insulting to me and insulting to the taxpayers that this person would say that Sudan Thomas is a good guy and everybody should applaud him for his work.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for your responses. You're going to get the first response to the next question. And after this, for the group, I'm just going to I'm going to have one more question and then we'll wrap it up if the commenters have anything else. So this question comes from a member of the community. How many children are enrolled in the public schools and how many are in the charter schools? What percentage of the school district's budget goes to charter schools? And I'm going to expand on the question. What is your stance on charters, and what would you do if elected? 3 minutes to respond.
Well, I think there needs to be equity across the board, and also understanding while there is some controversy and concern around charter schools, that they are still considered public schools. And so, yes, they do receive funding. There are some issues that need to be tackled as it relates to the charter schools and the public schools. And that is that I hear from both parents and teachers that when a child leaves a charter school and comes back to one of the other schools, that the money doesn't follow them. And that is something that we will have to tackle as a board to make sure that the money follows the child. So yes, there needs to be equity between public schools and charter schools.
As far as the numbers of kids enrolled in public schools right now, we are in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, this is remote learning right now. So as far as kids being enrolled in schools right now and those exact numbers, we don't even have exact numbers of the kids that are logged on and not logged on. The important thing to think about right now is not how many kids are in the school and do you know that fact. The important thing right now is how many children are continuing their education in this remote situation. There are lost children out there who are not logged on, and we need to track down those kids, get them the connections they need, get them attending school, get it in a language their parents can understand, get the training for the parents so they know how to log in and out, and continue the education of each and every Jersey City child right now that is trying to get to learn, and it's impossible for them to do so. So right now we need to attack the problem at hand and get the kids logged on in their language with their parent, properly trained so that they can help out, and also somehow get our plan in motion to get the kids back in schools where we can do it safely, K through 5 as a priority, with spread out with teachers safe, children safe, and that plan moving that plan forward. Because right now that's where we're in a crisis right now, and we need to fix the crisis of the education of our children. We need to make sure that we track down and get people learning again and get them learning in a way that it's helpful for the whole family.
Yes, I believe all parents deserve the best of schools. I mean, they should be able to allow their kids to go to the best schools. However, the best schools are also, the public schools. We need to, bring up the technology. There should be more effort in technology, access to the technology, accessible computers to the children. We need to make it more affordable for them. And this is where we're at. We need to bring the millennials into the millennium.
Okay, that's it for our time. Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to bring it over to the Education Matters team with the same question. Okay, go ahead. Take it away, guys.
Okay, I would just say that very briefly that there's about approximately 30,000 students in the system. I would say about maybe 3,000 of them are the charter schools. There's about 4,000 students who are special ed overall, and then you also have your private school placement, which is about 4,000. And then when it comes to the issues around the enrollment, and we have new enrollments that will be starting in about, I think, 5 days, because they usually lock down the numbers around October the 15th. We'll know what those new numbers are. But in terms of those numbers, we make sure that, all of those students receive what they need. But one of the things that I've been advocating for years is that the charter schools receive their own separate funding, because their funding is a pass-through from the district, which creates a little bit of an issue, because when the budget cuts and everything has been taking place, in many cases, the charter schools have been held harmless and have been allowed to expand and grow with funding, while we continue to receive reduced funding.
I'd also like to say that 2 charter schools have recently closed, Metz and Marist, so we're getting the influx of all those students as well. And I wanted to quote something that Superintendent Walker says, that, these are all our children, because sometimes what happens is they leave or they come back, or it'll constantly be in motion because parents are always searching for what's best for their children. I also want to say, as a parent myself, I'm leading this parent and community committee meeting with colleague Shaw, and I can relate because I'm doing it too. And they come to me and ask me questions and feel comfortable with me. And that's all that matters, because I really care and I want to make sure that they're getting everything that they need. So I'm not just like randomly, saying this parent said this or this parent said that. No, we're doing this every 2 weeks. We meet and we talk about all these issues that are happening right now, and we put them in contact with the people they need to speak to.
Yeah, just to echo some of my colleagues' concerns, obviously there's a great need for collaboration amongst charters in our public schools, as many of our revenue and finances sources are shared with these schools. And we're looking forward to doing that, and not anti-charter, or we're not, pro-public and just Jersey City public schools. We have a shared interest for education of all the children of Jersey City.
Thank you very much, guys. All right, I'm going to ask the final question. We'll start with the Education Matters team, and we'll go on to the Change for Children team, and that'll be the last question for the day. So if you want to make any closing statements, please use this time to do so. But I have a big question. So the question is something that I remember a lot of you were here last year for the candidate forum, and thank you all for being available and making the time to come back. It's really important that the community hears from the public officials who are running, who both already serve and who want to serve in the future. And this is a question we asked last year, and the facts on the ground have changed quite a bit, but the question is about funding and state aid. So as you know, Trustee Richardson mentioned before, we, Jersey City, have seen state aid cuts year after year. The payroll tax was meant to be something to help address those cuts, but with COVID and the decline in payroll and the rise in unemployment, the mayor's already reported that the payroll tax isn't going to hit the estimates that were projected. What is your plan to address the budget deficit issue with the Board of Education? Are you considering tax increases? What options are on the table? And if elected, what would you advocate for to address the critical funding issues? 3 minutes.
Look, I'll kick it off. The reality of it is no tax increases. I have property interests myself. That tax increases directly. So it's never to look at your bottom line and say increase. We had to make a significant investment in our budget, but I think my colleague, Mr. Richardson, will speak more to this. Going forward, the solution is to find alternative revenue solutions, but also engage with our partners at the state level, because our funding at the state level is crumbling and it's being decreased year over year, almost to the tune of $1 billion. We're underfunded. So what has to happen is we have to have meaningful conversations at the municipal level and the state level, how we divvy the money up and how we allocate the money. But also on our end, we have to look at the appropriations as we are looking at the appropriations. But our last budget, that called for significant infrastructure and significant investments in order to right some of the historical wrongs, such as overpopulation in certain cities where the ratio is 40-1.
We also spoke to the community a lot, and we met with people. We met with the mayor, we met with parents, we met with a lot of people to discuss what was happening. And at the end of the day, I remember people saying, "Please raise my taxes." And what do you say to that? Obviously, it is a last resort, but we are at the point where it took a lot of guts to do something like that. To unanimously, all of us, all those board members voted yes on it. Because it came at, and also with the, because of the COVID, we needed this money to hire people. You see that we had to hire a lot of custodians, we had to hire more nurses, we had to hire so COVID kind of added more to the list, and we were already underfunded as it was. So a lot of our facilities are not at where they should be. There's so many issues that, money, we need that money. So yes, we need to work with the city more. We need to come up with some more revenue solutions, grants, because we have a lot of great grant writers in this district. So I would like to leave it at that and go to Lorenzo. Thank you.
Yeah. Again, for the past 3 years, we had a 70 million, 100 million, 120 million to 150 million this year deficit. We've been able to overcome that, and the only thing we were able to do when all else failed, we had to raise the levy by only but as much as what we were willing to to meet the need after everything was done for this particular year. We're in litigation with the state, on funding as itself. And then, of course, we're looking for new revenue sources, grants, and working with additional shared services with the city.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to turn it over to the Change for Children team with the same question. Just hang on a sec. And just to refresh, the question is about the budget and what your plans are to close the budget deficit. You guys have 3 minutes. Go right ahead.
Kevin, and we're also closing?
Yes, this is going to be your final response.
Okay. So, yes, the answers have been said, and, it's not rocket science. You have to think of, creative ways to fund, which includes working with the city for shared services. It includes seeking additional revenue sources, whether that be, through grants or through, donations and things like that. I want to say this, since we're closing, to the voters who have not sent their ballots in already, you still have a choice to make. And I'm going to say this again. I just said it the other night. If you are a taxpayer, I want you to think of the many headlines about the mismanagement of money with the school system, about how they knew for over a year when they were going to regain control of the finances of the school, and there was no plan in place. For the parents, I want you to think back to March, April, and even now about the confusion and the lack of communication for you to be able to help your children. For the teachers, the lack of communication as to what was happening when, the frustration with the children with connectivity issues and going from app to app, and the frustration with the parents and not being able to get help to properly help their students with their virtual learning. I want you to think about all of those things. And, the analogy I used the other day is, a sports analogy. Athletes can practice for months on end, but when it is game time, it is game time. There is no excuses. You can't practice the plays. It is lights, camera, action, and you either win or you lose. And I believe that the current leadership failed. They struck out. They struck out with the COVID pandemic. They struck out with communicating with the parents and the teachers, and they struck out with the handling of the budget and the planning for the budget shortfalls. They're now trying to balance that budget shortfall on the backs of taxpayers. And they have been quoted in the media as saying that there will be a tax increase every year for the next 5 to 6 years. That is not a solution. You can't just keep asking the taxpayers to chip in more money and you're not doing your due diligence to balance that budget. So I would ask you, when you pull out that ballot and you look to the bottom right-hand side, to vote 4, 5, 6 if you want real change, if you want real communication, if you want real leadership. Thank you.
I'm going to reiterate Sheena's thoughts about the fact that they saw this coming and they had no plan. The budget has not been, something that just appeared and has to be solved now. So there should have been a plan in place, and this just goes to show that they have no plan. They don't know how to enact a plan, and as she's saying, they're planning to raise taxes, and that's fine. People are okay with paying taxes when they get good schools, but right now they're not getting the effect of those taxes. They're not working that money to where it best should go, and they don't know how to run the taxes that they get. They don't know how to create the good schools. So if they're not doing it now, they won't be able to do it in the future, and you should pick a new team. Sonia.
Okay, Sonia, I'm sorry we're out of time, so that's going to be
Transparency.
It just to be fair to everybody, it's 3 minutes, same amount of time. But I want to thank all of the candidates. I'll turn you all back on right now. A virtual round of applause for all the candidates. Thank you all so much for coming today. For those of you who may not know, the election date is November 3rd, but New Jersey has an all vote by mail system, so everyone should be receiving a ballot in the mail. You can vote today at your kitchen table if you so choose. And so I want to thank all the candidates for coming out, engaging with the community, and best of luck this year. Thanks, guys. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a good day, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, just me and Anu now. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. I'm going to do a few more announcements for the rest of the day. Let me just go through my list here. Okay, so if you guys have enjoyed this meeting, if you're having a good time, if you'd like to become a member, please visit JSQCA.com. Membership dues are $25. If you become a member now, it will count towards 2021. So it's a great time to renew your membership, stay involved, help fund the streaming service, and the other programs that we're going to put on throughout the year. Your membership really means a lot. That's also where you can sign up for a committee. You can get involved with the outreach committee, with Anu, or the other great committees we have. And I do have a few committee reports I'm going to bring up with you guys. We had the committee chairs email in upcoming events and announcements that I'm just going to run through real quick. First off, the seniors committee. I want to say thank you to Marianne Von Roth. She actually ended up moving out of town, and so she's stepped down as the chair of the seniors committee. Thank you very much on behalf of the membership, on behalf of the board, Marianne. She had organized some great events for the seniors in our community. If you were interested in getting involved, if you'd like to become a committee chair, we now have a vacancy and availability. I think the mission of that committee was very important, and I would like to see it continue. If you're interested in getting involved in that or anything else, please email hello@jsqca.com. You can speak directly to me. We'll get you hooked up with that. Just one more thing on the Board of Education candidates. We were contacted by Bridget D'Souza, who volunteers with Jersey City Together. They have put together a nonpartisan BOE candidate questionnaire. All 6 candidates responded. So I believe Bill already posted it in the comments from the Journal Square Community Association, a link. I believe there's a PDF or a website with their responses. So if you want more information about the candidates, that's a resource that's available to you. They responded. I looked through it for myself. It's very informative. A lot of the important issues that we addressed here and other issues are addressed there. Also, Jersey City Together's education team is having a meeting next Monday, October 19th at 8 p.m. Bridget or somebody else from that group can leave that Zoom link below if you guys are interested. Anu, do you want to give an update on the Communications and Outreach Committee?
Sure. So we will be starting to have regular monthly meetings. We're going to hold them on the 3rd Tuesday of every month. So if you're interested in outreach and communication, please get involved. We'd love to have more people involved. We want to do more around social media. We're looking for people who could create some social media posts for us, who are interested in like design and things in social media in general. So love to have and volunteers. Please reach out to us. The email is outreach@jsqca.com. And what else? We will be partnering a little bit more with the Journal Square SID, so we're excited about that. And I feel like there was something else I can't remember, but yeah. So please reach out to us if you're interested in getting involved. Outreach@jsqca.com.
Thank you, Anu. Thank you very much. And so let me keep running through here. The next is an update from the Clean Committee. They're going to be doing the final 3 walking tours of the remainder of the boundaries to identify areas in need of improvement. And Renee, the committee chair, is going to be posting on Facebook the dates as they're scheduled. So this is walking tours to look at problem properties and try and get in touch with the landlords to address cleanliness issues in the neighborhood. The Clean Committee partnered with other groups in Jersey City, including the Journal Square SID, Black Men United, and Solidarity JC, and Wealth Cafe. If I'm forgetting another one of the co-sponsors, I apologize. It's posted on our social media, but you can see photos there. It was a great event. We had probably almost 24 volunteers show up just to pick up litter, with the little hooks and trash bags. We filled up, probably over a dozen trash bags. So it was a really positive event. And Tom, the head of our Safe Committee, Tom Zuppa is going to be scheduling a November cleanup. The date is to be determined. So hang on. Check back on social media for that update. Or get on the Clean Committee's mailing list, or we'll definitely be announcing it. Update from the Green Committee. There's going to be a monthly meeting Wednesday, October 21st at 7 p.m. The Green Committee meets the third Wednesday of every month. Also, Bill, the chair of the Green Committee, wanted us to announce that there's a virtual meeting regarding the design of 234 acres on the interior section of Liberty State Park. That's going to be Tuesday, October 20th. If you are interested in attending, you must register by October 15th. I'm going to make that link appear on the screen where you can go to register. But if Bill's in the chat below, please just leave a comment on Facebook. And Anu, if you could just share on social media this link so that people could register for the Liberty State Park virtual meeting. In addition, we have another update from Jovina, who was telling us about a project that Black Men United is putting on. It is a monthly clothing drive. It's going to happen October 24th from 2 to 3 p.m. in Journal Square Plaza. That's another one. I believe we shared the flyer on social media. So take a look out for that. And Steve Lipsky, the head of our homelessness committee, he is looking for volunteers for homeless outreach. If you're interested in getting involved, getting engaged, please email hello@jsqca.com, or if you can get in touch with Steve directly. If not, email the general inbox and we'll get you connected with the committee. Or for the 5th time today, if you register as a member, you can sign up for the committee mailing lists. It's very important. And our next meeting. So the next meeting is going to be Saturday, November 14th at 10 a.m. Our speakers, we're going to be focusing on environmental issues, green issues around Journal Square. And we've confirmed we're going to have Kate Lawrence. She's the Director of Sustainability for the City of Jersey City. She's going to be discussing the city's climate action plan. If you remember, I believe she was with us in 2019. So she's going to be giving you updates on her work. And we've also, we're going to be reaching out to the city's forester to talk about tree planting and other issues around forestry in Jersey City. So we're going to try and get you an update on that. And between now and the next meeting is Election Day. So if I didn't mention before, I'm going to mention again, the election is Tuesday, November 3rd. However, the election is occurring right now. If you haven't seen it, you may have already got a ballot in the mail. You can fill it out, send it back. I believe the envelopes are prepaid. Remember, there's 2 envelopes. Don't forget to fill both of those out. You can either mail it back in, or there are secure drop boxes where you can leave your ballot. There's one in front of City Hall. The one in Ward C is at 257 Cornelison Avenue, which is Hudson County Plaza. It's a county administration building. The Board of Elections is in there. The Sheriff's Department is there. It's at the corner of Academy and Cornelison. If you go during business hours, the gate will be open. You wrap around the building in the county's parking lot there. You'll see the drop box. You do not have to enter the building to drop off your ballot. It looks like a little mailbox. It says, official drop box. You don't have to go inside the building. You do have to go during business hours, so the gate will be open. If you would like to, you can go to the Board of Elections offices and drop off your ballot, but that is not necessary. You can use a drop box or vote by mail, but that option is available. So some people have been confused as to what happens at 257 Cornelison. You can go in the building and drop it off at the office, or you can just use a drop box out front. That's what I did. You can track it online. I tracked my ballot. It's been counted. Well, not counted, but it's been collected. With that, that wraps up my agenda for today's meeting. I want to thank everybody for joining us over social media. We really appreciate everybody coming in and participating. Thank you to the council candidates for everybody for coming back and speaking with us, and for the council candidates whose first time it is. And thank you to Director Trzeciak for joining us. So with that, everybody have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye.